The first question, actually, Amelia, to you would be: how should someone work through such a sudden major interruption, which we've all experienced? And really, what have you been writing about that can really help people cope with the stress that they're dealing with today?
This is a very unique, goes without saying, right? It's a very unique situation that we're going through, because most of the time, whenever there's a traumatic event or a crisis, it affects, sort of by definition, a small set of the population, right? And right now, at least at a very macro level, right, this is affecting all of us. Obviously, in many different ways, right? For some, it's a matter of life and death. For us, it's about, keeping our family members safe. For us, it's about facing unemployment and other issues. So, obviously, there's a lot of different ways in which it's affecting all of us. But unlike many other situations that we've been through, and probably like most of our lifetimes, this is sort of affecting everybody, not just everybody in the States, everybody in the world, right? So there's not a real clear blueprint, right, of what to do and how to deal with the disruption. So there's a few things to keep in mind. The first one is what I just said. It's really sort of reminding ourselves that what we're going through is completely unprecedented. This is something that none of us, I venture saying it, have experienced in our lifetimes, in no way to this magnitude. So sort of bringing that reframing in gaining a sense of self-compassion from that, and sort of being able to cut ourselves some slack for all the emotions that we're having and the struggles that we're facing, I think is sort of like really, really important at that sort of macro level. And then the other part that I think is really important is just to remind ourselves, that each of us needs to find what works best for us. And obviously we'll share some tips and techniques, and you guys can also talk to people in your life. You can maybe even talk to a therapist or other type of mental health worker. But the reality is that we need to find what works. And what I've been getting really frustrated is when I'm out there and I'm reading all these articles that come out, that tell people that they, this is the time to pick up all those hobbies and to learn a new language and to build, an indoor playground for your kids and to become this, get in the best shape of your life. And there's a lot of pressure left and right, and have all these Zoom meetings with every person that you ever met, and college friends that you haven't seen in 15 years. And I think that it's learning about what works for you. There's a lot of prescriptive messaging out there as to what we need to do and not do. And self-care in general, not even just in the middle of a pandemic, is really about figuring out what works for you. And the way that I like to think about it is, what are activities in your life that allow you to sort of decompress, so they allow you to gain some distance. They allow you to connect with yourself, with your emotions, with your thoughts, with your perspectives, and also in a way that is healthy, right? So, if you go and have 2 bottles of wine, you might, decompress and disengage from the world, but it may not necessarily be healthy, right? Or a couple of glasses of wine might be healthy for most people, but maybe not for people who have a history of alcohol abuse or perhaps a medical condition. So the point is, you need to find what works for you, what allows you to gain the distance and to recenter yourself, and to sort of not let those voices out there of everything that we need to be doing to sort of get to your head.